I got this question from Jordan. I can never seem to come up with unique names for my characters. How do you get yours? So today I will share my thoughts and process on how to come up with names for your fantasy characters. Hi guys, my name is Jesper and welcome to the Fane of Fantasy. This channel is all about giving you inspiration to master your craft and create fantasy that will truly immerse your audience. Now, two things before we dive in here. First, the most important one. I want to say thank you to you, Jordan, for sending me this particular question. I truly appreciate the interaction with both you, Jordan, and also the rest of you out there who share your own thoughts and comments in the comment section below. So thank you all for that, and keep it up. Secondly, you don't have to take any notes on what I'm about to tell you here, as I have created a free downloadable checklist in PDF format for you. So you can get that off my website. And at the end of this video, I've added a link somewhere on the screen where you can get it. And I've also added a link in the description field below. All right, so fantasy character names. Names are hard. And I'm not going to give you an easy answer like use an online fantasy name generator or something like that. That is useless if you really want to create names for your characters that truly has a unique ring to them. And I have to tell you that I wrestle a lot with this myself, coming up with a name that really depicts who the character is and are memorable all at the same time. It's hard. Nevertheless, I will give you my thoughts and process here. The first thing I do is to think of the race or the culture that this particular character belongs to. And then ask yourself, what is at the core of this specific race or culture? What encapsulates the essence of who they truly are? This is of course much easier said than done, but at the point of crafting a name for your character, you really should already have completed your world building exercises. So take a look at your notes on these particular people and ask yourself, who are they in their simplest form? Are they warriors who go out and conquer? Are they nomads? Are they philosophers? Are they merchants and traders, or perhaps mostly farmers? Decide on one thing that reflects their being the most. And with that in mind, think long and hard about which real world, ancient or current, culture would mostly represent the people this character belongs to. Or in other words, if this character was a real person, which culture would he most likely have belonged to? I think let's make an example to carry us through this entire process and make it as easy to understand as possible. Let's say that our character is from a warfaring and conquering culture. And after much consideration, we decide that his people could have been modeled over Genghis Khan and his Mongols. Okay, with that in place, it's time to look up some names that belongs to this real life culture. And what you're looking for here is patterns in the letters and in the sounds of the names. So if we go back to our example here for a second, you go to Google and you search for Mongolian names. And you'll have to spend a bit of time on this part and then check out the different results that you will be getting. Because there will be random name generators and other crap popping up in between here. So try to navigate carefully through the results and read through it. Once you have some trusted sources, you start to make some notes on some common patterns in these names. So in our example, we find that a common trait on Mongol names is that they many times end on AN or AR, and the letter combination KH also appears quite frequently. And hey, if there are anyone from Mongolia watching out there, please don't take any offense by my complete and utter simplification here. But in terms of crafting fantasy names, just bear with me for a second here. There is a point to all of this madness, I promise. At this stage, I just have to go off topic for just a second. There is one truly important point to make before we proceed. Now, if you during your world building have developed your own language for this warrior people that we are using in our example, then of course you need to stay consistent with the conventions of said language. So instead of Googling Mongolian names, you should consult your world building notes and then analyze the language that you already developed for patterns in the letters and sounds there instead. In either case, you now have a sound bank in place, so to speak. Or I could say that you now know that we like to end names on AN or AR, and we also prefer the letter combination KH for this particular people. Next comes the trick. Repeat what you just did on deciding one thing that reflected these people's race or culture the most, but this time you instead focus on the character himself. What is the one trait, positive or negative, that defines this person the most? Again, just like before, don't jump to a quick conclusion. Think about it, consider it, and let it settle in your mind before you pick the one thing that characterizes this character the most. If you have developed a backstory for the character, similar to what I explained in the video on creating character personality, then that will give you a lot of clues to go on. Back to our warrior example. Let's say that courage is what defines this character the most. So now you go on to an online translator and you translate the word courage from English to Mongolian. You'll find the result to be Sorek. I don't know how to speak Mongolian, so I probably said sandwich or something right there. Now we'll couple Sorek with what we learned in the former step. It was the stuff about ending names on AN or AR, and also prefer the letter combination KH. So grab a piece of paper for yourself and start playing with combinations of Sorek and former mentioned letter preferences. You see now how it's quite easy to come up with different combinations, and every single one is not only unique, but is actually based off both the character's race or culture and his or her personality. I believe that this makes the character resonate so much more than what any random name generator on the internet will ever give you. You might ask, what if I just have regular humans and they are pretty much like your average medieval human with nothing special about their culture or themselves? Well, you can always take regular names and just move the letters around. Like George R.R. Martin named Eddard Stark with roots in the plain old Edward. He just changed one letter. I don't think that there's anything wrong with this approach. As long as you just make sure that it links to the culture and it's consistent across the people of these lands. The thing is, names don't always have to be unique. They just need to match whatever naming you are giving to these particular people. So, at this stage, you should have a few favorites on your piece of paper. Google those favorites and just make sure that the word doesn't mean something in the real world. If result comes up with something minor, then don't worry about it. But you just don't want to use something you think sounds completely awesome and then find out later when someone tells you that actually this name is the brand of an ice cream. There is no real turning back from that. And hey, if you like this video, do remember to hit the like button below and also subscribe for more inspiration every single Monday. In writing, I'm coming to the home stretch on editing book 2 of the Keystone Bone trilogy. As I've mentioned before, this one has been a beast to tackle. And I have had to rewrite several scenes I just wasn't really happy with. It'll feel great to get it across to my editor very soon though. And thank you for showing support on Patreon. I truly appreciate it. It puts me on a path to continue making these videos and also improve the quality even further. One of the goals I've set is that I would love to be able to hire a professional video editor who could help to make these videos even better. If you want to be a part of all that, then check out what is going on over at Patreon. And make sure to grab the free checklist as well. There is a link somewhere here on the screen. And stay safe out there, and I'll see you next Monday.